more official.
Okay. Ms. Little? Here. Mr. Nagy is absent.
Right.
Mr. Villalobos?
Present?
Mr. Caper?
Present.
Mr. Stick?
Present.
Mr. Brittingham?
Here.
Mr. Wilkening?
Here.
Mr. Mager is absent. Mr. Carnahan?
Here.
Mr. Becker?
Here.
Mr. Austin?
Present.
Public comment? Public comment twice? Public comment 3 times? Okay, approval of the minutes, of the public meeting of October 23rd, 2024. Motion?
So moved.
Second?
I'll second that.
Roll call vote, please.
Ms. Little?
Yes.
Mr. Villalobos?
Yes.
Mr. Caper?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Stick?
Yes. Thank you. Phipps report?
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
In front of you, you got the October hours. Everybody meets some hours for a total of 57 total hours and 7 details, some crossing guard, but, and I call 1 call out in winter, and then Halloween patrol. Any questions?
As always, thank you for your service you provide to the town.
Normal.
Police Department, number 3.
Good evening and happy Thanksgiving to everybody.
Thank you.
Happy Thanksgiving to you.
So, communications, I received an email from the school safety director, Michael O'Donnell, on October 31st. I'll just read it briefly. Thank you for allowing Officer Tomko and our K-9 Johnny to assist with our K-9 sweep at the NL High School on October 30th. Officer Tomko also assisted with scheduling some of the K-9s from other departments as part of the training for that day. The search went well and the teams were very professional. We did locate some items with the assistance of the K-9. Sergeant Moak and Officer Corbin, which are our 2 SROs, also assisted with guiding some of the teams around the building. If we can be an assistance to you or your department in the future, please let us know. And I just simply responded back to Mike, acknowledging his letter and that we're there for them whenever they need us. That takes care of that. We received a thank you card. This was sent to us by a previous VIPS member who used to be on the VIPS. Her husband passed away, and we did send some flowers just due to the fact that she was a volunteer with our department. And so she sent us a thank you card in response to that, which was really nice to have her acknowledge that. I know it's not really for last month, so we'll skip ahead, and I'll just let you know anyway for the public. There was a press release sent out. I forwarded it to everybody. It's on social media. It's on all the media outlets. And this was in regard to an incident handled on Saturday evening. Kind of a domestic situation with an armed individual who fired a gun inside the house and had made threats to shoot the girlfriend. Officers responded quickly, appropriately, took immediate actions, and were able to detain the individual. He remained in jail, I believe, until today, and it was a good ending to a bad situation that could have went a lot worse. Also not on the agenda, I could talk about it under staffing, but I'll just talk about it now since it's appropriate now, if you don't mind. Due to that incident, I did give all 4 officers a letter of accommodation for their response. Yeah. So that letter went into their file, and each of them received a copy of that letter, recognizing them for their actions on that day. And I believe that the letter itself is appropriate for what they did, so
Yes,
it's in their file.
it could have been a very serious incident that turned out great.
Right, and all 4 of them played a part in it, this also included our newest officer, who is actually is in training, with his field training officer. And, I was given positive feedback, on how he, reacted and acted on that call, probably being the first call of that nature that he's responded to.
That's great.
So, yeah. So all in all, a good ending. So that's all I had, I believe, for communications.
Okay, number 4, go to finances and whatever.
So the finance report, again, in your system, again, mostly, again, just vehicle repairs. Been getting kind of hit hard with vehicle repairs, it's just kind of the nature of the beast. In addition to being at the end of our year for spending, we're under budget, so we're making sure that we get these repairs done, including tires and things like that, just to get it done before the end of the year. But again, pretty much almost everything on there is a vehicle repair, in some way, shape, or form. Unless you had any specific questions about it.
A lot of oil changes, and we just hired a mechanic that starts
Right.
tomorrow.
Yeah, the town did hire a mechanic, again, and, hopefully this will work out for us. Apparently he was a mechanic for another community nearby, so he has experience. We'll give him some time to get, acclimated and before we order supplies and have him get started on, vehicle repairs, handling things that he can handle. But it's just the bigger repairs that's just wiping us out. As you know, everything's gone up 900%, and, we're just getting hit hard. Every time a vehicle goes in, it's $1,000, regardless. So, even brake jobs have gone through the roof. So, looking forward to at least getting some of that stuff back in-house. But we still did manage to stay within our budget, which is a miracle in itself.
That's great.
So.
5?
I just wanted to mention too, real quick, when I'm speaking about our budget and expenses, you might hear in a public meeting that we're doing some transfers, and one of those transfers is gonna be overtime. And it's not because we overspent, it's because when the officers work the grants, we're reimbursed, and that money goes back into the general fund. So it doesn't go back into our budget, and it specifically doesn't go back into our overtime. So we're gonna be asking for some of that money to be put back in overtime so that we can cover, the Taylor Ice Fest, and we're gonna put out some extra patrols too, just because we do that pretty much every year for holiday patrols. As long as we have the money and it's in our budget, we had over $17,000 reimbursed from grant operations that we haven't touched, so.
Does that Ice Fest pay anything for overtime for us?
We're paying overtime, and
Do they reimburse you is what I mean?
Well, no, it's a town function, it's a Parks Department function, so no, they wouldn't reimburse us.
Okay.
Because it's, robbing Peter to pay Paul, so to speak, it's a town function, so we provide the officers, we pay the overtime. Yeah. So that was it with finances. So staffing, as I had mentioned, Officer Milan is back on the road. He graduated on the 15th. We attended his graduation at ILEA in Valparaiso, along with some of his family. He did very well in the academy, and he's doing extremely well, back on the road. We'll probably keep him in FTO till the first of the year, to make sure he's solid and comfortable with everything, but I don't see any problems.
The pictures was quite impressive, from up at the university.
Yeah,
graduating.
Yeah, that's been really a good thing that NILEA has been able to work with the university to have that graduation in their chapel. Previous graduations were held in the gymnasium at the old academy, and there wasn't nearly enough room, so there was limited seating. So that works out really well, and obviously it's a beautiful atmosphere for graduation.
Stunning,
So,
beautiful.
yeah, it works out well.
I somehow got copied on all of the departments that there was quite a few people or officers that graduated
Yeah,
this
over,
term.
I wanna say it was 52, I believe, but all the way out to South Bend, you know. And, so, yeah, it was
It was a large group.
there's a lot of hiring going on in law enforcement, especially up here in this area. Right now, I think almost every agency in the county's hiring, and, most of them are doing emergency hires, so it's a big deal. Just a real brief update on Officer Pennington. He's out with a fractured bone in his arm, which he received like a week after coming back from his vehicle accident. This is due to mandatory training that the state had passed that requires us to do, in addition to all the other mandatory training, we have to do hands-on defensive tactics or training, which has a very high probability of injury. And this is the second time we've had an officer injured during this training. It was just a fluke thing, but he was going through the textbook training. We sent him out to Winfield because he had missed our training that we put on here with our department because he was out. And it's all the same training, it's textbook training. So he's out until that heals. He can't work. He's in a sling, he can't use the arm at all.
And you said that's the second officer that's been hurt in that training?
This is the second year for this mandated training. Last year, we had an officer blow his knee out.
So, like, what is it, Taekwondo or something? I mean, what are they?
That's a good way, I mean, think about it. If you suddenly signed up for Taekwondo and went in on your first day and were doing all these things, you have a high probability of injury, right?
Okay.
And it has nothing to do with officers being out of shape or anything like that. It's just, you know, when you're ground fighting and doing these things, you just...
Oh, it's literally like a
And
ground fight,
this was
okay.
a fluke thing. I mean, we're doing fall techniques, and in the fall technique, you use your arms to break the fall. And we're on mats, wrestling mats, and he thought he hurt his wrist or whatever, but it's farther down in the arm where he fractured a bone.
Wow.
Is this mandated by the state?
It's mandated by the state.
And, has this happened to other departments?
Oh, I can only imagine it has. I can't see how it hasn't. I mean,
So
we haven't checked, we haven't checked and really looked into it to inquire, if there's been many injuries locally, but my opinion of this particular training and the way it's conducted is it's a burden on the department, and
State may need to reevaluate it.
I would agree with that. Yeah. Just another update on staffing. We had been taking open applications. In other words, we just left it open for applications to come in just so we can just, have this been going on for quite a while. And I put it into that. I took it down, asked Sarah to take it down, for a couple reasons. Number one, we're not hiring, and we don't have approval to be hiring. You folks have, we're not hiring. And if we take these applications, even 30 days from now, in my opinion, those applications are out of date. So there's just really no point in taking them. If we do open up a hiring process, we'll get more than enough applications, I'm sure.
I would agree with that.
So, yeah. So we took that down. And that's it on staffing. Training, well, I covered that, but,
I have one question.
yes, sir.
What does, Police One mean?
Police One, let's see where, Police One is online training. We're contracted, a lot of departments are using Police One now, so it's online training. It complies with the standards, the state requirements, academy requirements, so it's training that we can do online. A great majority of it is mandated by the state, so it's part of our 24-hour mandated training every year. So those are the things that we could do online.
I just didn't know what it meant.
Yes, Police One is just a company that provides online training. They're tied in with Lexipol, who is the company that we do our policies through. They're both the same company.
Thank you.
Yes. So with that being said, again, end of the year, so we're kind of moving down on training. Excuse me for a moment. So we had the Glock Armor School with our 2 firearms guys. The defensive taxes that we spoke about, that we did in-house, was the entire PD with the exception of Officer Pennington, who got hurt. We had ethics, train the trainer, which was our training guy that did that. And then he's coming back around and training the employees for the town, which will be on the next report, because we all just did some ethics training for the town. SWAT training, another armor training, and then the toximeter recertification for 1 officer. That's all the training for the month. We won't have a whole lot next month because it's the end of the year, so. Number 7 on equipment. So the new vehicles are moving very slow. It just so happened that I got mine first, probably because it has the least amount of equipment in it, so it was the easiest to push out. We picked it up last Monday. And then we have things, you know, to do on our side, which I did, some equipment swaps and some in-house stuff. So since I took possession of that vehicle, was able to move my vehicle to Officer McDowell, who is now, you know, in investigations, and so now he's using my old unmarked car so that we can utilize his marked car with the radar unit and all that back in patrol. So we'll be doing that with his car. Which was the plan, you know. The other cars, the next car that was being done, I thought would be done this Monday. It's not gonna be done now until next Monday because of the holiday. So they're doing them one by one, which is also not usually the case. Usually they do them all together. So it's moving very slow. Also on Pennington's vehicle that's being repaired that was in the accident, it's moving good. Found more damage, so more repairs, which is typical when you start getting into a vehicle that's damaged like that. So it's still out. And the last thing, I just need some approval, and there's a voting box for it. So when we move, if we were to sell vehicles on auction, I would get the council's approval. And I will most likely I went ahead and put it on the agenda. I have a 2016 Ford Explorer that was given to VIPS, and it's just a disaster. It's a mess. It's riddled with problems, and the last thing here is it's got electrical problems. It's doing all sorts of crazy things. So it's far beyond, you know, investing money into it at this point. So I'm most likely gonna ask the council's permission to put that on auction, which we've done in the past. So that's that vehicle. The one I need your permission for is a 2010 Dodge Charger. It was old VIPS Unit 501. It's been sitting down at the street department for a while. We decommissioned it for obvious reasons. It's 2010. Again, just has done its duty. It's time to go. I asked Public Works, their director, if he would be interested in having it as a runaround vehicle, if they can do in-house repairs to make it worth it, and he said that he would like to do that. Take possession of it, he'll strip it down. We've done this in the past with old vehicles that are even rusted out with but they use them for just, you know, running out to get parts or something like that. So with your permission, I would like to transfer that 2010 Dodge Charger to Public Works.
Have a motion,
I'll make that motion.
second,
So moved.
roll call vote, please.
Ms. Little?
Yes.
Mr. Villalobos?
Yes.
Mr. Caper?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Stick?
Yes.
Thank you. That will be done. I feel like I'm missing something. think we're ready for monthly activity. So our calls for service in October were 895. Traffic stop analysis was 287. Warnings were 257 for October, 119 citations for the month of October, with a 615 count on law incidents. The arrests were 22. 29 on the arrest offense analysis. Ordinance activity, this is the wrong page. So the ordinance warnings for the month, we had a total of 34. And for the ordinance citations for the month, looks like we have a total of 35. So that's the activity for the month of October. Just a reminder, I don't know if this is the proper category for it. At the end of the year here, we're working on our performance evaluations. The ones that I've had to do are completed. The majority of them are completed, but just wanted you to know that we're aware that they're due and they're being done and completed. And those will be filed with HR, and they'll go in the individual's files as well. So we didn't forget.
Maybe we can come down in stages and review them with you.
Whatever you'd like to do, sure. Yep, absolutely. Lexipol policies, nothing big there. Just the things that Lexipol wants to change. You know, there shouldn't really be any changes. There's no legal updates, you know. So I don't, you know, there are some things for us to look at. We haven't done that because I have a feeling that whatever they want to change, we're going to probably reject anyway. Because there's nothing, no legal updates this time of year. There's nothing on there, and we're just dealing with, you know, the things that they push out that we don't necessarily.
It's kind of like a fit all sides of the departments. We
Yeah.
just went through that with the fire department on these last ones. There was a lot of interesting things.
Yeah, and I'm not big on changing, you know, policies that don't need to be changed, you know, just, you know, for no reason, so. We'll take a look at those and make the right decision. I believe that's all I had.
Okay, thank you.
I have something.
Yes, sir.
How many cars are due to be purchased next year?
So we were originally, when I say we, of course, it was under Chief Fisher's time, so I wasn't directly involved in the conversations, but through the financial advisor at the time, we were slated for actually 5 cars.
Okay.
Now, since then, a lot has changed. There's other capital purchases that have been made. So I had a budget meeting with Jennifer about a week ago, and I asked her about cars. She said that she had advised the council that there would be a problem with purchasing cars because of these other capital purchases. That's a problem. It's a big problem. I would like to see us, we'd be okay with 4 cars, okay? Minimum, because for obvious reasons. You know, we're on a rotation. You know, we're behind on that rotation. It was slated to be about a 5-year rotation. And this isn't abnormal. This is, you know, when you're maintaining a fleet of police cars, it's just, you know, this is how it's done. And the idea here is also to be able to have cars that are good enough to move down to either VIPS or code enforcement. We haven't had that for a long time, you know. I'm looking at possibly giving VIPS a Dodge Charger that's a 2014, I think, with almost 100,000 miles on it, because it's the best car we have that I can give them. So I don't know. I haven't had a conversation with the council. I don't know where we're going to be at, but if we don't buy cars, once you get behind, you never, especially now with the price of cars these days, If you get behind, you're in trouble.
I don't wanna see the stop of not keeping, the movement forward of replacing them, because we did it one year and that hurt us.
Well, we're still paying for that. So in 2020, we didn't buy any cars. And we're paying for that now. And this isn't about getting a new shiny car. This is about maintaining a fleet. Just as if you were a delivery company and you had a fleet to maintain. It's not about somebody getting a new shiny car. It's about maintaining a fleet. And the police cars are the second most important piece to this equation. An officer in a car. And we talk about retaining officers and benefits for officers, and if you look at these other departments, you don't have to take my word for it, it's all online. Every department in this country, but specifically, I think even more so here in this area, they're all hurting for officers. And these young officers can write their own ticket, they can go anywhere they want. And we talk about benefits and pay, and we're falling behind. And
When my brother was on the force, we got used state trooper cars, and it was called the Rainbow Police.
Well aware. When I started here in this department was probably the second year they just started to buy cars. And that was because one of those old police cars almost burned an officer's house down. And, so I'm well aware. And, again, this isn't about us driving and, somebody getting a new shiny car. There's more to it than that. And these other departments, for one example, the Indiana State Police, on top of all the other recruitment things that they're doing, they're now putting it out there that as a new recruit and graduate from the academy, you'll get a brand new Dodge Durango. I mean, it might sound silly, but every little bit helps to recruit people and to
And
keep
they're
people.
actually trying out Tahoes, I believe.
I'm sorry?
The state is actually trying out Tahoes too.
Well, they are now, yeah, because of the issue with the Durangos, which we really haven't seen, there's equations to that. There's reasons why they're seeing it, we aren't. And that goes back and forth, because we had just as many issues with the Ford Explorers, same thing. So yeah, they're trying out the Tahoes. Tahoes are very pricey, obviously, extremely pricey. And I'm here to tell you that, in my whole time here in my career here, Chevy, Ford, Dodge, Chrysler, whatever, every single one of them have all had their fair share of problems. Like I said, with the Ford Explorers, they renamed them Ford Exploders because of the issues. Again, the importance of maintaining a good fleet. And I think we do a pretty good job here. And I think the officers, for the most part, take pride in, maintaining their vehicle. But it's just something we can't afford to stop doing or get behind on, because you'll never catch back up. And we're still getting, we're getting a pretty good deal on these Durangos. Certainly the cheapest vehicle out there, police vehicle out there, cheaper than the Ford, extremely cheaper than the Tahoe, and definitely more affordable than what the public can buy them for. So we're doing the best we can to keep them, keep the price where they're at. But I just really want to emphasize that there's a lot more to it than just somebody getting a new shiny car. I'm a perfect example of that. I didn't ask for a new car, and my 2017 Ford Explorer was like brand new, inside and out. So it's just to make things work, and to make that equation work, I got the new car, and we're still utilizing my car. And my new car will last a long, long time. It'll last me the rest of my career probably. But again, it wasn't about getting a new shiny car. It's just part of the job. And we've been able to maintain that for a number of years, and I'm just afraid that if we get behind on it, we'll never get back to where we're at.
Well, I think we should send some type of letter or motion to the town council urging them to consider however many cars we can buy, but we need to do it as soon as possible. Otherwise, we're gonna be in the same predicament we are now.
Thank you.
We're gonna buy them in April and May, and come November, we still don't have them, because there's such a time frame in backlog and getting them lettered and all the other stuff that has to be put into it. So, what do we need to do, Mr. Washington?
You have 3 council members sitting in this room right here.
4.
4? I missed somebody?
Oh, I thought I saw Richard Teal back there. Oh,
I count 3.
yeah, okay.
Well, it's close to majority. There you are. They have a meeting next Tuesday night. It can be talked about then and directed to the council.
Do we need to send them a letter, though, encouraging
You don't
to?
need to do that. You're on the record here.
Okay.
Directed now.
Well, I guess Carl would be at the meeting anyways, and he would say that we,
Then Chuck and I will take the message back.
okay, just so we get the ball rolling. I don't know how everyone else agrees.
I
but-
agree wholeheartedly.
So to clarify, you said we were authorized for 5 new vehicles for next year, and has that been reduced?
Oh, it's completely been changed.
To
because-
what? What are we authorized for now?
None.
0 out of 5?
Yep. Because when that was looked at by the financial advisor, these other capital purchases were not on the books, and they have been approved. In other words, those other purchases are moving forward. And now Jen is advising that pretty much wiped out our ability to purchase cars. And she told me that she advised the council of that, and that they would need to find some other solution to finance these cars. And Chairman Caper's 100% correct. Not only is it important that we get these cars, but there's no reason to wait till the middle of the year, because no matter how we pay for them, these dealerships don't want their money like right now usually, unless you're paying cash, obviously. There's all, in the past, when we financed vehicles, there's been times we didn't have to pay a penny until the next year. Now, this year we didn't finance, so we did have to pay for them because we paid cash for them. But there's a lot of, there's different things that can be done, but we bought these vehicles late last year. We waited a long time for them to come in, and now here it is December and we still don't have them. So we're going to be putting 2024 cars on the road in 2025. That's not good. And there's just really no reason to delay it, because money's money.
Well, plus the car's sitting for 6 months without it being used, so I don't know if that,
The council didn't approve anything for next year for its capital improvements for the fire department yet, other than it's bonded for the fire, that's a bond that's different, right? Bonding for the ambulance and fire, so it doesn't,
Yeah,
so there should be funding in CCD.
So this is news to me.
Yeah, I'm just reiterating what I was told. I was not involved in any meetings previous to or current. I specifically asked the question when we were discussing our budget for this year, the end of the year, and that's what I was told. So it might be news to a lot of people. In my position, I'm just simply saying I need 4 cars, minimum 4 cars. And clearly it's a capital expense. It's clearly not in my budget. And if we are to move forward on getting the cars, as Mr. Caper had mentioned, I would prefer to do it as early as possible, so that we're not waiting an entire year. Because that certainly doesn't help us either. That's where your, vehicle maintenance costs go up, and these vehicles aren't lasting as long as they used to.
is there any way you can throw together a maintenance total for this year, what it has cost us?
Oh, I could, and I could just simply based on what we've spent out of our budget. So, I mean, I
Well, whatever, I mean, I'm just trying to show the
No, I
fact that if
understand.
we buy a car and we paid, $70,000 in repairs, we could have bought almost 2 cars.
Yeah. And I'm emphasizing more, I mean, repairs are repairs, sometimes it's worse than others. I'm also emphasizing largely on the fact that we have a VIPS unit. These people are willing to come out and volunteer their time. sometimes come out and sit on an accident scene for 10 hours. An example was Parade of Lights this weekend. We had 4 VIPS members come out and only 3 cars for them to drive. So I let them drive a squad car, which is perfectly legal, and I let Tim use it because he's the lieutenant and senior guy, and he was just sitting at an intersection closing traffic. But I'm not going to have 4 guys that have dedicated themselves to this unit to volunteer their time and not even have a car for them to drive. So that I emphasize that more so than even the cost of, you know, repairs and things like that. We've never bought them a new vehicle, ever. And they have a Dodge, a Ram pickup truck that's already, what, 2013? That was purchased new on a grant with a trailer. And we wouldn't have that vehicle if it wasn't for the grant. And the only reason, and there's no grants out there for vehicles. They just don't exist. There's got to be something attached to it, i.e. that truck. The grant wasn't for the truck, the grant was for the trailer. The truck came with it, for example. But those grants, I mean, those grants don't exist, and they're extremely complicated to get. There was a grant for a vehicle with a drone, for example, here recently, and we applied for it, but Hobart got it. You know, so they got a vehicle for a drone deployment vehicle. You know, so we can't depend on that kind of stuff for vehicles. We have to depend on our own fleet. We have to depend on those capital purchases. But the whole entire VIPS unit depends on us to be able to hand them down a decent vehicle for them to use. And we can't do that if we're driving them in the ground before they can be replaced. So,
Thank you.
yes.
Carl, can I say something?
Go ahead.
I think, I'm not positive, but I thought it was in the budget, we were supposed to hire one more officer for next year. Are we gonna be able to have a vehicle for him? Or her?
Yes.
Okay.
We will. We do have a vehicle available. Well, see, now I'm in another predicament, quite honestly, because of the hiring of the chief. Because I don't have a vehicle for a chief to drive. The vehicle we had available is a marked patrol vehicle. So the real predicament isn't necessarily the officer that we're gonna hire, it's the chief that we're hiring. I don't know how that's gonna work out. I'm sure of.
We've got that smart car over there, don't we?
No, we don't have that anymore.
Oh, we don't.
The one we got free? Yeah. That thing crashed, or it went out of operation. And the business that made it went out of business too.
Yeah, that vehicle was never useful in any way. But to answer your question, I do have a marked patrol vehicle for a new hire. I do, yes. But hopefully, I don't
God bless you.
have a major issue with any of the older vehicles that would take away from that, but I do have a vehicle.
Anything else?
No, thanks.
Move on to, let me see, fire department, number 11.
We did officially receive notification that we did not receive the air tax grant. That's the only communication we have right now. Under finances, you guys have a copy of our finances. If there's any questions, please feel free.
Are we ever gonna get this turned the right way on here?
No, you're talking to the wrong person.
It doesn't work all the time.
It doesn't like us.
Well, then I would appreciate a printout. If you can't get this,
Cheryl, if you send it to me, I'll fix it before the meeting, next meeting.
Okay.
Thank you, Cliff.
this is separate.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't read this like that, so if you
Yeah.
can't get it straightened out, I need a printout, please.
Because when you turn it, then it turns.
Right.
Any questions?
The
There's still,
13.
furnace,
that's not on here, is it?
Yeah.
That will be next month's
Yeah.
report, compliment.
What did that cost us?
$500.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's bad when that unit cracks.
Yeah. Well, it was a good thing they came out and they were, checking it for the winter, so.
You change it. Was the washing machine put on this month's report?
It'll be next month
Okay.
as well. You're looking at,
Last month?
yeah, last
We're trying to look at it.
I'm sorry, I
It
don't.
would be all right if you could do this, but it's straight.
Yeah, then the computer does the same thing, yeah.
Possibly
There is
if,
no purchase requisitions.
If you can't resolve that, would you?
Cliff said he
The
did it.
problem was, is that, Sandy sent the reports with electable policies all together as one scan. I don't know, Cliff, maybe you can chime in, but I did try, but then it changes everything. I need the report sent to me separately, and then I can save the report
Can you take care of that?
accordingly. I did ask for that for next year.
For next year?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Yeah, we'll take care of that, yep.
Yeah. So each one separately.
Okay, no problem.
If you could tape that where it couldn't move, but it won't.
I don't have any requests for requisitions for purchases.
Chuck says the washer is in the report here.
Well, no, this is for
What
next
is
month.
it now?
Oh,
Okay.
the expenditures.
Yeah. Well, we did a washing machine, got ate up by the,
We've been trying to review the expenditures, but
You got it sideways again?
you have to
are we
look
done?
like
Are
that.
we ready to
Can we
move
do
on?
it left and
No?
right?
And if you do like that, then it straightens itself back up, so is everybody,
Okay.
ready to move on, or you still wanna?
Well, I can't read it.
Yeah, I can't read it, so.
So,
We need to
Cheryl,
look at it.
Cheryl, for next month, if you could, can you just print that one out?
Cliff said he's gonna correct
You
it.
can fix it?
Yeah, I'll
We'll
get with
we'll make
IT if I have a
absolutely
problem.
certain it's fixed. Cliff can do it. It's all about the program that you have. Some of them allow, some don't. We'll make absolutely certain it's
I
fixed.
don't know where it came from.
I know he'll do it. If he can't, I will do it myself.
I had it here when we sat down, so I don't know.
So we wanna make a move to it
No, just direct them.
right here.
We're not gonna approve it.
What did the voting box?
That would have been for,
Purchase
Commissioner, that would have, if I would have had any purchase requisitions.
Okay,
And
okay.
there is no purchase requisitions.
all right, and you reported on grants?
We did receive a $5,000 grant from NIPSCO for the community for smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors, and also educational materials. One of our guys that's been through the educational, or been through the training for dealing with, lost my train of thought here. Basically, the public outreach, applied for a grant that was available from NIPSCO, and we got it, Mark Byer, paramedic firefighter Mark Byer. So what we're gonna do is we're going to advertise heavily for smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors for the community. And then buy some educational, learning materials for the kids in the schools, with whatever's left.
When will you get them?
We just got notified that we got the money, so.
I just thought maybe it might be a good idea if you had them now, you could maybe take them to the trustee's office and maybe when people came in and.
No, I don't look to see that happen because they'll have to order them and.
Right.
Here.
Well, it's a thought.
And
Yeah.
it's better to go to the schools, I think, because
Yeah.
you've got two different school corporations
Right.
here.
We'll make sure both schools, if there's a blitz between the schools on free, carbon monoxide and smoke detectors.
Okay, number 14, would you briefly touch on Elkman's winning?
Yeah, Elkman completed the agility test, and he's passed the agility test, and I'm asking for him to be approved tonight.
A motion to, approve, Anthony Elkman,
I'll make that motion.
second.
So moved.
Roll call vote, please.
Ms. Liddle?
Yes.
Mr. Villalobos?
Yes.
Mr. Caper?
Yes, ma'am.
Norm Stick?
Yes. Okay,
That'd be a recommendation to hire to the council.
Yes.
Yes, thank you.
I will be down post haste to sign the letter.
Okay.
Number 15, training report.
The training report, I just had it up here. Where did I just do that? Total hours. Okay, the department logged 591 training hours for the month of October. And in your report, you can see the categories. All mandatory training for the year is over with, and so we're pretty much, the month of December, pretty much all training settles down for the holidays.
Questions on training? Okay, then we'll move on to equipment,
The operations, Norm, want me to do that one next real quick?
if you'd like. I was just following my list.
Okay,
Go ahead.
it wasn't under, okay, oh yeah, it wasn't, I'm sorry, monthly activities after that, I'm sorry, equipment, we have obviously, no new purchases. We do have, the ambulance in getting a new motor. You informed me earlier that you and Larry went up to J&M to take a look at the operation. We do have some maintenance that's going on, right now with some of the apparatus. A few things, we had to get new tires on the township truck, and the township trustee, paid for those. That's really it for right now.
Okay, number 17.
As far as maintenance is on the equipment, if you have any questions, Freddie came tonight, and he's got all the maintenance reports for the year, if anybody's interested.
As long as he's here, why,
If there's a question, you guys he'd be glad to answer. Monthly activity, the operational report for October, 183 incidents. As you can see, 79% of them were EMS, 16 of them were fire. We had 10 PI crashes. PI stands for personal injury crash incidents, accidents. And as far as by the area is concerned, the town of Cedar Lake was 86% of it. Unincorporated Hanover Township was 14, and there was 12 mutual aid calls to other communities. And then, once again, our report on overlapping incidents. As you can see, there's been 44 incidents where there was 2 at the same time, and at 3 at the same time, there was 18. Tuesday was the most busy day of the week, and 1700 was the most busy time of the day. Overall, there was 183 calls, and as of end of October, we're at 1,815 calls for the year. And if you go and look, we've had 123 car crashes with injuries this year as of October, yeah. And that is due to more traffic on 41 and there are different areas, so.
So has closed, what is that, 151st? Is that helped?
Yeah, but we've also responded to calls just south of there now.
So it moved it down to the next,
But not as many. It's
Not
been,
as-
yeah,
Just
It's
depends
high
where they're
speed.
doing a U-turn at.
yeah,
There was one at 157th just this afternoon.
yeah.
Yeah, they got it on Facebook that, 151st is not bad, and now 157th is taken
Yeah.
over.
It's you kind of move it a little farther south, it's actually making it harder for us to go and handle those
I
incidents.
think it slows down the cut across traffic
Yeah.
or whatever, where it's not as violent, I believe.
I thought he was here.
Yep.
Okay, we finished with 17.
Yeah.
Okay, Cheryl, do you have a copy of this that has all of the policies listed for Lexipol? I'll give you this. So, David Villalobos and I met with, Chief Mager and Assistant Chief Mager and Chief Wilkening as a group, and, we reviewed all of these Lexipol policies, so if you'll take it from here.
The very first policy was the chief executive officer. They wanted the state and the Lexipol group requested to remove all qualifications and training to be a fire chief, and we've decided to leave that in there. That is not a mandate that we remove it, so we think it's in the best interest to keep that in there as a committee.
Chief,
yes.
you're gonna read these, by policy number and title. So this would be 101, Chief Executive
101
Officer.
Chief, yes, I'm sorry, yeah. 328, Community Volunteer Program, update because regulatory action impacts to Content Homeland Security passed a new regulation related to training for EMS support personnel. So that would include firefighters that are not medics. 401, Fire Investigations, updated because regulatory action impacts its content. Homeland Security passed a new regulation related to fire investigator qualification.
When you read, could you give the 401.4 so we know where we're going?
I don't have it listed like that on there.
Oh, okay.
It's just in the policy.
So I guess
You did get these ahead of time, right?
No, got them here tonight.
Okay.
You want this to read off of, so they know where you're going?
No, I can do that, but I'll go through every page then. Okay.
So we're looking for the, when it just says modified then, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
So, number 600, fire apparatus and driver operator training. It's updated due to regulatory action that impacts its content. Homeland Security passed a new regulation related to driver operator training procedures. Citations to repealed regulations have been deleted, and the new citations have been added. Punctuation correction and new gendered pronouns have been removed.
If you'll just pause there for a moment, Chief.
Yes, sir.
This is what changed. These are the numbers.
Okay.
They changed these numbers.
Down here.
Right, and with the previous policy as well, it's just a number that changed.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, carry on, Chief.
Number 605, hazardous materials training, updated due to regulatory actions, impacts, and content. Citations have been added in first responder awareness, hazmat first responder operations, hazmat technician, and hazmat incident commander. Punctuation has been corrected. As you can see, some of these trainings are updated mandates as well, so it's even more training we gotta do mandatory by OSHA. Number 708, photography and electronic imaging. This policy has been updated because the new body-worn cameras policy affects its content. Changes include purpose and scope, content related to media captured using body-worn cameras has been added. Prohibited use of photography or electronic imaging, gendered pronouns have been removed. Punctuations have been corrected. And new policy addresses body-worn cameras in the fire service. We do not have body-worn cameras, so this policy currently does not apply to our department, but the committee did think it would be good to at least have this in case it does happen in the future. And then number 711 is the body-worn camera policy, which is brand new. And once again, going back to that, we decided it would be good to have that just for future use. Number 803, patient medical record security and privacy. The policy has been updated because the new body-worn cameras policy affects its content. Once again, we don't use it, so we don't currently have to worry about body-worn cameras on medical calls and in the back of the ambulance. And our police officers know that, when we're treating a patient inside the ambulance, it cannot be recorded by a police officer's cameras either. 909, Health and Safety Officer. The policy has been updated by Homeland Security's Board of Firefighting Personnel Standards and Education. It passed its new regulation related to HSC qualifications, and NFPA Standard A citation has been added, and the edit level has been changed to state and punctuation corrected. So basically, it's now become a state issue. 1000, recruitment and selection. The policy updated by Homeland Security in the all caps training. A repealed citation has been deleted and a new citation has been added. The punctuation has been corrected and gendered pronouns have been removed. 1014, conduct and behavior. Homeland Security has passed new regulation requiring members to report certain criminal convictions. Reporting of convictions has been added as a new subsection in conformance to the laws to address the requirement. Punctuation has been corrected in gifts and gratitudes. Gratuities, yes. Thanks, Dave. 1025, lactation breaks. The wording has been changed throughout the policy. In both police and fire policies, we have to offer lactation breaks for those that have to lactate for children. 1033, temporary modified duties assignment. The wording has been changed throughout this policy. And those are the policies that have been brought to you for approval.
Any questions?
Good to see
Yeah,
you.
I'm a little concerned about the, 708, 711, and 803. It says in there that the media that's captured is not to be dispersed. Is there anything that we have in there that specifically, I don't even know how to phrase this question. How are we gonna stop it from being shared? Because I see things like this on Facebook all the time.
On 711 here?
Yeah, it's kind of between 708, 711, 803. It's like it's all the media recording and the body worn camera footage and whatnot. I'm of the generation, I guess now, that you're on Facebook or whatever and you're seeing people being arrested or being put in an ambulance or, you know, the worst day of their life, and there you are watching it on a little Facebook reel for 3 minutes. So I'm just curious as to how we can stop that. Is there something in place?
Well, as far as this, we just adopted it just because we don't have the cameras, as you know.
Yeah, I know, but if we're gonna be proactive that way, shouldn't we be proactive the other way?
Well, certainly a member of the fire department or the police department, that would certainly wouldn't be allowed. Is that what you're referring to? I'm not sure. As far as the bystander, we can't control that.
I'm not talking about
No,
bystanders.
I don't
I've seen it,
understand. I don't understand what you're saying.
How do we stop, it just says you can't share it. How do we stop it from being shared? What are the repercussions for sharing it? If we're gonna be proactive this way, we need to be proactive on a disciplinary end if somebody wants to take that video and share it.
Well, you wanna answer? We have,
Social media, we have a social media policy that anything's put on social media has to be approved by the fire chief. And then from this point on, I was gonna report next that, the Board of Safety asked me to, create a Facebook site that's official from the fire chief's office for official information to be put on. This is not the union site, this is fire department information. So, as of recent, I've completed that to the point where we are now published online, a Cedar Lake Fire Department Facebook site, and everything has to go before Chief Mager And even if Chief Margaret wants to post something, he has to have it approved by me.
Okay.
So, any other sites that are out there that say anything about Cedar Lake, you know, or a lot of fake sites or people that post stuff that, you know, with fake names and stuff, if it doesn't have my name on it or Chief Margaret's name on it, it's not official from the fire department. We took the Cedar Lake PD standard, by way of doing this. Everything that's official, comes through Carl, and it's, you know, like press conferences, you'll see Carl or his designee put an official press conference out on an incident, like you mentioned earlier. That's gonna be the standard for the fire department moving forward as well.
Okay.
So if you see a video that's been put on, and it's put on by one of our people, then that's a problem.
Yeah,
Well,
and I
then
mean, I
it's a
realize,
violation of the SOP, it's a
Right.
violation of the
It is.
SOP.
If I could, I might be able to help since
It is.
we do it. First and foremost, like the chief indicated, so our body cam and dash cam footage, first of all, can only be viewed by certain people. That doesn't mean they wouldn't have access to it, okay? Because you have to have access to it to write your reports, you have to have access to it to give to the prosecutor. But as far as any official release of our videos per policy, which is exactly what theirs says, I do that. I redact the video and I release it. I'm the only one authorized to do that.
okay,
Now,
okay.
when you talk about discipline, we don't put the disciplinary actions in every policy, on any policy.
I realize that.
So in other
I'm just
words-
concerned with different tentacles that could
Yeah.
possibly get into it. That's more how I'm looking at it.
Yeah, so if somebody were to take body cam footage from the police department and post it, yeah, they're gonna be in trouble. What that trouble is determined by, what trouble they've been in before, progressive discipline. in other
Right,
words.
right.
So that could be a number of different ways in which it's handled. But
Okay,
just by them taking that video and using it, they're clearly violating the policy.
okay,
And they know that they would face disciplinary action, which could be ultimately termination
okay,
if they do that.
okay.
I think our guys take it very seriously. They know absolutely that video doesn't get released unless I redact it and I release it.
Okay, okay. Just curious, it's just, you never know when you get one loose little cannon, you know?
Answer your
Thank you,
question?
Chief.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay. I'm happy now, thank you.
Okay, good. Motion to approve, the stated Lexipol policies.
I'll make the motion to approve.
Second,
So moved.
roll call vote, please.
Ms. Little?
Yes.
Mr. Villalobos?
Yes.
Mr. Caper?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Stick?
Yes. Chief, did you have any other?
Yes, I had one other thing, and that's the ethics training, was attended by most of our full-time personnel. And those that have not completed it will be, at the next session that's gonna be put on by the town.
And I talked to that breakfast I went to, and they said they knew you and were gonna get a hold of you.
Yeah, well, I also attended that training as well, so,
That breakfast?
and then I attended the ethics training like everybody else in the
Okay.
town. What was requested was a train-the-trainer course, it wasn't required it was required that the town had some folks trained at train-the-trainer level, and we do, the town does. So now those folks have been training others, and then Sarah Eli just did a big class for, departments. We had,
Who Jen's employee?
yeah, we had probably 25, maybe, I would guess maybe 30 people, town employees here, so it was a good training, she did a really nice job.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, Mr. Austin, do you have any report?
No report.
Thank you. Anything from our town council liaisons?
I kinda have already said mine.
Oh, sure, you jumped ahead. Okay, thank you. New building update?
Talked to our engineer, and we had preliminary approval from IDEM to get the permit, and now they requested more information, so that holds it up. Once the permit is approved, then there'll be a 45-day waiting period before we can put the water in the police and fire.
So it's not physically connected yet?
No,
Okay.
red tape.
Thank you. Anybody have anything under other? The safety board will be meeting briefly with Carl, just
Can we go back to other?
Okay,
Second, I'd like to thank, police and VIPS in town, fire department for helping out with the, parade. Without you guys
The
helping.
Gene Everly Parade.
Gene Everly
Get Gene
Parade.
in there.
It wouldn't be the success it was, and I believe we had over 50 entries this year.
54, the biggest one we ever had.
Wow.
So thank you to everyone that participated.
so before I go to public comment, we have two trustees here, or council members here, so if you guys wanna flip a coin or arm wrestle, either one of you is invited to.
We'll arm wrestle.
Okay. Sorry, Rich. All right, public comment? Public comment twice. Public comment 3 times. I declare this meeting adjourned.